A ver, vamos a poner un vídeo ahora. Todavía existe el vídeo. Es un vídeo de Carolina Cardoso Carmo.
Hello, good morning. My name is Carolina. I'm a Brazilian researcher at the Federal University of São Paulo, Unifesp, and I'm developing my PhD at State University of Campinas, Unicamp. This paper, called The Artistic Urban Resistance and Perspective of Gender in the City of São Paulo, it's part of a bigger research that I'm developing, and here I will present the first results in this quantitative perspective. The introduction of this paper is related about the territory and the relation of the use instead of the traditional economic structures. Okay, in Brazil, our territory has been structured throughout history as a result of a segregatory and excluding process, and we have a lot of authors that affirm that this segregation in the urban scenario is the result of several levels of capital development and the production of urban spaces designed for certain social classes. The popular classes, in turn, are predefined within Brazilian urban planning, which has been reproduced in the last decades to accept the conditions and offers of marginalized service. These marginalized services is not related just to social and economic conditions, but the conditions of gender as well. The logic of the feminism in Brazil will grow in relation to the unsatisfactory demands for the women, and this will start with the limitation to the vote, going through the domains of the husband over the wife, and shocking with the movements of political representation that call themselves feminists. So we can notice that the women always get involved in the social systems in general. However, they were dismissed and treated as lower, both social and political, by men. In addition, we understand that this kind of determination of roles for each gender are inserted in society functioning, especially the class systems. And in response to this, we can see a lot of movements dissatisfied with these undemocratic practices coming from the state or the patriarchal society. And these movements have been fighting for freedom of expression in different ways. One of the ways we can say that is art. So the feminine through art is a break of the silence and a path to claim the occupation of urban spaces and give another signify to their existence. The wall that were a bound of territories now is support for the speaking resistance representation of women. So now we try to get more voice and more participation in these kind of spaces. So here, the first results we will present here, search to understand the presence of artistic and interventionist movements at São Paulo. They are supported by an internal structure grounded in the women actions. So we are trying to show and study these groups which are formed by women and promote actions to women. Here, the research proposed to study these groups using with method as reference the platform called SP Cultura, a free and collaborative mapping platform of the São Paulo Municipal Secretary of Culture. In this platform, we can find agents and events registers, spaces and projects related with art, and to this research we choose to work with the category agent and the category space. And we, in this platform, we selected the themes and keywords specific to find the results that are more available to us. It's important to highlight that the insertion of the tag women was made searching the best boundaries the objectives of to find. There is a possibility when the register agent places himself on the platform that there uses relevant tags for being found among the research. So here, to agent categories, we use the following themes: street, digital and visual arts, theater, cinema and circus. And to space category, we use just the keywords women. The results, the first question is about the results, the quantitative results that we find after the research and follow the new possibilities contributions inserted on the platform were found as final conclusions with 8 results in relation to the space category that we localized here in this map. So you can see the limits of the city of São Paulo in yellow, and the other cities the main boundaries in São Paulo. And in pink we can see the localizations of the 8 spaces that we could find with this first research. And we can see as well the results in the space agents. In the category agents, we can I found 63 agents, and I located them in the city of São Paulo according to the localization and the address that these agents shows in the platform. But the question is exactly that. The total numbers in the platform, the total numbers of the agents and spaces mapped in the platform is more than 20,000 individual agents, more than 3,000 spaces, and more than 4,000 collective agents. So when we compare the results that we could find about spaces and agents in the perspective of women, when we use the keyword women, it's a result very low when compared to the result, the completed result. So we can understand the geographical disposition observed in these 2 maps. We can notice a bigger concentration of the dots in the peripheral regions of the city, being spread in direction to the borders of the municipality. And we can understand that probably the possibility of those objectives, individual agents or spaces, try to suppress institutional acts on the peripheries, because the urbanization of São Paulo is directly linked to the logic of the urban build as a territorial process of capital concentration. In the peripheries inside the process of territory are products from a logic of exclusion and segregation. So we have peripheries that are more poor than the center of the city, and in this geography localization we can see more agents and spaces in these borders, so we can understand that possible is when we have more demand to this kind of actions. Analyzing the quantitative perspective, the conclusion from the choose filters are considerably small in relation to the numbers of agents and general spaces registered, as we we already said, we don't arrive to 100 objects. They are constituted in their conception and focus the presence and action of women. So the quantitative is very low. And this consideration, we can see that it's essential to evidence the development obtained in this research isn't limited to those artists as the only the municipality, but as the only registered on this platform. But we can say that from this study it's possible to cast a question about the quantitative participation of the women in the artistic production of São Paulo. And knowing that the representativity as related about is extremely important to maintenance and preservation of the artistic movements and collectives, it's necessary to register in the platform those groups that have the focus on the discussion and participations of women, culminating in a wider dissemination and inspiration of other women.